Hi, I'm Aaron. I'm here to show you how to make my favorite handmade pizza. First, I'm going to show you the ingredients you will need to make the dough. You will need 5 cups of flour, 2 packages of yeast, 1.5 cups of water heated to 110 degrees, 2 teaspoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and 1 tablespoon plus 2 teaspoons of olive oil. It's very important that this water be heated to 110 degrees because that is the temperature that yeast grows the best. I checked the temperature with a food thermometer. So I'm checking to see if it's 110 degrees. Which it is. So now I'm going to add the yeast and the sugar to this water. And I will mix until until the yeast is dissolved fully. Now I'll let this yeast mixture sit for 5 minutes until it turns spongy. So it's been about 5 minutes. I have the yeast mixture here. Notice how it is spongy, has a spongy texture on the top. That pretty much means that it's ready to use. Now you pour this mixture into the bowl. And add the salt and about half of this flour. And now you mix it until it's smooth. Mix it on low until it's solid. From this point, mix in the remaining flour until it is incorporated. Now I will swap to the dough hook. So I've removed the mixing attachment and here's the dough hook that I will now put on. And while kneading the bread, you add this olive oil, the 1 tablespoon, and you knead it for about 5 minutes. To mix the whole thing up, you could just do it by hand if you don't have a machine. Or you could, you can mix it by hand, and you can knead it by hand on a table surface. Now that the dough has been kneaded and is slightly tacky, it is ready to rise. First, you add the remaining olive oil into a large bowl, and then you add the kneaded dough into that bowl with the olive oil. Try to get it into a nice ball. And when you have it in here, you want to roll it around so the olive oil is covering the whole ball. And you let it sit for 2 hours in a warm place. I usually stick it in my oven that is a little warmed. I usually heat it to about 100 degrees and then turn it off and open the door a little bit to let it cool slightly and place the bread in there. You also want to cover it with like a kitchen towel or plastic wrap. After letting the dough sit for about 2 hours, this is what it should look like. You will need to punch it to release the gases. It's now the next day. After I punched down the dough, I coated it in oil and placed it in a Ziploc bag and put it in the refrigerator overnight. If you had been ready to make the pizza right away, you could have continued making the pizza then, but storing the dough in a refrigerator overnight is an option. If you do refrigerate the dough overnight, make sure you remove it from the refrigerator about 2 hours before you intend to make it so it can warm up to room temperature. Now you are ready to roll out the pizza. You'll need a pizza pan. I have a 17-inch and a rolling pin. I'm making a stuffed crust pizza, so if you want to make stuffed crust, you need some mozzarella cheese sticks. First, you want to spray the pan with pan. And then take the dough, place it on the center of the pan, and start rolling it out. Here's the crust all rolled out. I'm making the stuffed crust pizza, so here are the cheese sticks already unwrapped. So you just lay them on around the edge and just start rolling them up. And press them down a little bit. So the cheese sticks have been inserted into the dough all the way around. Now for the sauce and toppings, the ingredients you will need are fresh basil, Italian seasoning, one 15-ounce can of pizza sauce, 1 can of diced tomatoes drained, either 1 large or 2 small mozzarella balls. I have 2 small. Some Parmesan cheese, and any other toppings that you may want to add, like pepperoni or sausage or anything else. I have some sausage here that I've already cooked. So now the first ingredient is the pizza sauce that you dump on and spread out. You want to spread this evenly over the whole thing. Now that the sauce is spread, sprinkle on the Italian seasoning. Now, put on the fresh basil that you have. I usually get a big clump of it and just tear it apart and sprinkle it around. And now spread the diced tomatoes on. Make sure they're really well drained so the pizza isn't too sloppy. And then the mozzarella ball, which I've pre-cut. So you just start laying this on. Now that the mozzarella sticks are spread on the pizza, sprinkle on some Parmesan cheese. I try to do it to like cover the cracks between the mozzarella slices. Finally, add the last ingredient, the pre-cooked ground sausage. You could get creative with this and add any toppings that you want, like pepperoni or sausage or anything. But yeah, I'm doing sausage. Now that this part is completed, you would want to place the pizza in a 500-degree preheated oven until it's brown and the crust is done. And here's the completed pizza. It was in the oven for 25 minutes. The last step is to slice, serve, and enjoy. Thanks for watching my how-to video on how to make my favorite homemade pizza.